So guys, it looks like the NPA doesn't believe in transparency. It looks like the NPA is not happy with the fact that right now we are discussing VBS, and the reason why we are discussing VBS is because of the leaked affidavit of the former chair of VBS, it's Affidavid Matodi. According to the NPA, or if it was according to the NPA, we would still be in the dark. We wouldn't be talking about EFF, we wouldn't be talking about the ANC, and we wouldn't be talking about all of these people that made it possible for the people of Limpopo to be robbed of their life savings. This is what the NPA believes in. They are telling us that they don't believe in transparency, and the fact that this affidavit leaked, it is not something that they are happy with.
All right, joining us for more on this is the NPA spokesperson, Mthunzi Mhaga. Mr. Mhaga, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to listeners, and thanks for having us.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. So you've released a statement condemning what has happened, which is the leaking of Mr. Matodzi's affidavit. Talk to us about this, perhaps just detailing the position of the NPA on this matter.
Look, this is quite disheartening and disturbing because it has the potential to undermine the proper administration of justice.
So the guy says that NPA is not happy about this leaked affidavit. But what he is failing to understand is that this case has been going on for over 5 years. And maybe, just maybe, South Africans needed this affidavit to leak so that we can hold the NPA accountable if they fail to do their jobs. So he says that it's disheartening. Oh my God. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to the NPA. But right now we are talking about people's lives. You look at the people that were affected by this whole bank heist of the NPA. The poor black people of Venda that trusted their institution, that trusted their politicians when they told them that, guys, you need to trust us, you need to take your life savings and put these life savings into this new bank. And now those people don't have their own money. But according to the NPA, this whole thing was never supposed to be leaked. And if it was, according to the NPA, today we wouldn't be talking about EFF. We wouldn't be talking about everyone who actually made it possible for the VBS to be collapsed. Guys, I don't know, man, how I feel about this, man. I don't know how I feel about NPA actually not being happy about this affidavit leaking. Were these people actually planning to cover it up? Because these are the questions that can come to your mind when you hear an official from the NPA saying that they are not happy about an information that leaked. Were they playing to cover it up? Because the people that have been implicated in this whole thing, they have enough money to actually put some sort of influence to the people that are running NPA. And this case has been going on for the past 5 years, on over 5 years. So we as the public, are we supposed to be happy with the fact that NPA believes that we are not worthy to know anything? I'm not happy at all, man. I know they are not happy about the fact that this affidavit leaked, but at the same time, I'm not happy about the NPA thinking that I am not worthy to know what's actually going on.
All right, joining us for more on this is the NPA spokesperson, Mthunzi Mhaga. Mr. Mhaga, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to listeners, and thanks for having us.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. So you've released a statement condemning what has happened, which is the leaking of Mr. Matodzi's affidavit. Talk to us about this, perhaps just detailing the position of the NPA on this matter.
Look, this is quite disheartening and disturbing because it has the potential to undermine the proper administration of justice. It also has the potential to place at risk the lives of people mentioned in the affidavit. Secondly, the investigating officers and the team, as well as the prosecution team that assists with the matter.
So the person who actually implicates the people is not the one that his life has been put in danger, but the people that were implicated are the ones that their lives will be put in danger because of this leak of this affidavit. To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. If this guy actually said that it would put the life of Tsifiwa Matodi, the former chair of VBS, in danger because he actually implicated all of these people, all of these politicians, to me, it would make sense. But to think that people like Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu and other people, Dondo Mukhajan, their lives would be put in danger. How would their lives be put in danger when they're implicated in the collapse of VBS?
It also has the potential to compromise the pending prosecution against the other accused persons, because you know that one of them has already been convicted and sentenced. Now, we have instructed, that is the National Director of Public Prosecutions has instructed the Director of Public Prosecutions in Pretoria, Advocate Mzinyati, to conduct a comprehensive investigation together with the DPCI in order to establish who is responsible for the leak and what is it that can be done to deal with that person decisively. We're also looking at legal options, whether it is permissible for the media to publish information that relates to cases that has been leaked to them. So it's a two-pronged approach. We are quite disturbed because we want a situation where cases that were seized with, especially those that are high profile and complex, that involve politically exposed individuals, to be ventilated in a proper forum, which is the court of law, not in the public domain like in the media and social media and the likes.
But maybe, just maybe, South Africans are sick and tired because NPA moves so slow. Maybe the person who actually leaked that affidavit understands that this is the only way NPA is going to be pushed to do their job. Because I don't understand why would these people actually waste their resources finding the person who has leaked this affidavit, whereas this affidavit actually tells us about the people that have destroyed VBS. Don't you think that right now it's time for VBS to actually focus on the people that have destroyed the VBS instead of wasting the resources trying to find someone who has leaked this affidavit? I find it very strange, man. I find it very strange the way these people are so heartbroken. And to be honest, man, these high profile cases in South Africa are not, they don't move. They don't move. Like, we only hear that, okay, maybe such and such have been called for questioning, but it ends there. It ends there. Nothing actually happens. Instead of actually looking at this leak as such a horrible thing, maybe these people need to look at this leak and actually understand and look at it as something that actually going to motivate them to get the job done. Because now we know of the people that were implicated. Now we know everything. We know of what the former chair of VBS said. So we are just looking at you guys and hoping you guys are going to make the arrest very soon. This is what we are looking at. And I honestly don't appreciate NPA telling South Africans that we shouldn't have a right of knowing about what's happening in our own country. This is the reason why some cases have taken forever, because we didn't know of anything. But now that we know of NPA, now that we know of VBS, and we know of the people that were allegedly involved in the collapse of VBS, we're going to hold you accountable. If you don't do your jobs, we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to hold you accountable. So how many cases are you people actually hiding from us? What is it that we actually need to know that is happening there in the NPA? What is it that we know that, what is it that we need to know that is happening in the NPA? Maybe you there in the NPA, you need a bit of push so that you guys can start doing your jobs. Maybe you need a bit of push so that you can start doing your jobs. Because as things stand, it looks like you guys are just chilling there in the NPA. You have arrested one person, you have sentenced one person, and you are masquerading as if you have done a lot. But you look at the list of people that are implicated in the VBS, and there's still a lot of work for you guys to actually do.
So essentially what you're saying is that what has happened here is that even the suspects themselves have been forewarned as to what exactly is happening.
I will adopt a generic response to your question without talking specifically about this case. The compromise relates to the pending prosecution as well as any pending investigation process that may be underway. Because when you expose information that has been unlawfully obtained, it has that detriment.
I want us to speak about the element of transparency, and then maybe you can be the one that explains at length what exactly this means. Because on Wednesday, when there was the sentencing of Matodzi, we spoke to Colonel Tatlago Mohale from the Hawks, and when asking around the details of the plea agreement, she was skirting past that. We really didn't get anything. But for the ordinary viewer at home, they could have possibly been of the view that here we've got an evasive law enforcement, and if we are victims of the VBS looting, we don't know why a significant amount of years that Mr. Matodzi could have possibly gotten if he was sentenced, 400 as it was stated, was shaved off and he got 15 years.
Let me first
just explain to us, for just that ordinary citizen who would have thought we have no further information, why they got to 15 years if they said that he was perhaps the mastermind of the looting of VBS.
The important things is that the basis of the plea and sentence agreement is in terms of a section 105A of the Criminal Procedure Act, which makes provision for the NPA or the accused person to get into an agreement on the conviction and sentencing procedures that would be applicable in a particular case. And there's a wide range of consultation that touches on the complainant, the investigating officer, the victims, and all of that. All that process was undertaken in respect of Mr. Matodzi. Now, when we talk about the sentence, the judge sentenced him to 495 years, but ordered same to run concurrently and effectively is 15 years. And of importance is that 15 years is a direct term of imprisonment where a person goes and serves a sentence inside a correctional facility. It's not a non-custodial sentence. It's not correctional supervision. It's not a suspended sentence. Therefore, we consider the sentence to be appropriate. Coming back to the question of what Colonel Mohale did, was that she did not want to compromise a pending prosecution in respect of other accused persons, because remember, the matter is not over. This is but one of the ongoing prosecution strategy of the NPA to hold those responsible for VBS matter accountable. Mr. Matodzi is one of them in his case. And the rest will follow when the matter comes up on the 22nd of July for a pre-trial conference where all outstanding and preliminary issues will be resolved for a matter to go to trial, so that all these issues that are now ventilated in a wrong and improper forum, that is the media, are ventilated in a proper competent court of law.
And now that the affidavit is in the public domain, unfortunately so, but now that it is...
No, not unfortunately. Fortunately so. No, fortunately so. We have the right to know, man. I'm sticking by my guns here, guys. I believe that I have the right to know. I have the right to know. I have the right to know. I'm sticking by my guns. I have the right to know. These people have been hiding things for us for such a long time, to a point where we believed that the NPA was nothing but a useless entity that serves us no good. I believe that we have the right to know. So it is fortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately.
Is it illegal to continue to disseminate this information?
That is but one of the legal options that we want to explore in order to hold those that continue to publish it accountable if the law prohibits such to be done. It's a
So the NPA wants to hold people accountable for publishing the leaked documents. They want to hold you accountable. So even if there's a leaked affidavit, according to the NPA, they don't want us to discuss it. They don't want us to talk about it. This is what they want. This is what they want. And I don't think it's a good thing, man. I honestly don't think it would be a good thing for the NPA to hold us accountable for discussing the leaked documents. I don't think it would be a good thing. I don't.
To two-pronged approach, which is one, the investigation of who leaked it and hold him accountable for that. Secondly, to explore a possibility of whether legal is permissible when you receive a leaked information to further disseminate it or publish it.
But how difficult is it for the NPA to balance the public interests against some of these very sensitive cases that you're seized with? Because I know even with you as the NPA, including the Hawks, there's always pressure because this was a very sad case, what happened to especially a number of grandmothers.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
And the poor.
They save their money, and to wake up and go to a bank and find out that the bank essentially is closed, you're not getting your money.
Exactly. Like you look at the people that were robbed, the people that were taken advantage of in this whole matter of VBS. Like to me personally, I don't know about you guys, but to me personally, it sounds a bit insane for NPA to actually be mad about this leaked affidavit that actually painted a bit of picture to try to show South Africans what happened with VBS. To me, it's insane. We have senior citizens, man. We have poor people that have put their savings into this bank. Of course, the public needs to know what happened. And for NPA to say that, no, you were never supposed to know about these things, I actually take offense in that. I take offense in that because the case has been going on for over 5 years. So of course, at some point, when we're gonna start to get a bit curious and start asking questions. What really happened with that VBS? What really happened with the VBS? What happened with the VBS? And I think instead of NPA looking at this matter as such a horrible thing because the affidavit leaked, man, they can look at this thing as a positive to actually encourage them to do their jobs. I don't believe that we were never supposed to know what happened in the VBS. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And it sounds like you will be protecting the people that were accused of collapsing the VBS. As much as you guys can actually put pressure on these people legally, we also need to put pressure as the court of public opinion. We also need to put pressure on these people that have been accused of collapsing VBS so that we can get some sort of answers. So if you are angry with the fact that this affidavit leaked, it looked like maybe you guys, just maybe there's some sort of covering up that you guys needed to do, allegedly. Man, I'm talking about NPA. I don't want to go crazy about NPA, man. This guy is gonna lock me up. He doesn't want free speech. He doesn't want transparency. So everything that we are saying here, it's allegedly.
You, even as the NPA, would feel the need to keep those communities. That case, what happened to especially a number of grandmothers.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
And the poor.
They save their money, and to wake up and go to a bank and find out that the bank essentially is closed, you're not getting your money. You, even as the NPA, would feel the need to keep those communities abreast of some of the developments. So how difficult is it to balance these interests?
It is not a difficult one because those parties that are supposed to be privy to information that will be shared between parties have that information. Secondly, those affected and victims of the crimes that were committed are kept abreast of what is happening. That's why I'm saying it's a balancing act that is easy to manage. It is not the first time that we have a high-profile complex case like this. We've prosecuted high-profile cases in the past. We've sent people to jail in circumstances where no one thought that the NPA could succeed in those cases. So it's a balancing act that is easy because we're trained in doing so. It's just that we're disappointed by men who lack or women who lack integrity and get into unscrupulous agendas of leaking information for their own benefit, which I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their benefit, man, is just to let the public of what's going on.
But now that we are here, are you confident of a successful conviction? I mean, just based on what you have, or even that is difficult to comment on?
I always shy away from talking about confidence and watertight cases, strength of the state case and all of that. Because what we have, we will place it before a judge, and all those issues will be ventilated before a proper court of law. Let's allow the law to take its course. Let's allow the wheels of justice to get into motion. They have partially done so in respect of the 105A agreement, and they will do so from the 22nd of July onwards.
All right. There was another high-profile case this week. Yeah. We had the Affidavid inquest judgment. Very important one. The ball is now in your court.
Man, talking about Affidavid, man, you know the whole thing of Affidavid, this is one of the most painful things to ever actually happen in this country, man. Life Affidavid, you have families losing their loved ones in the hands of corrupt and inept black governance. But these are things that you would hardly find people talking about. The life Affidavids of this kind, you would hardly find people talking about life Affidavid. But when you really read about life Affidavid and what actually happened, and the fact that some of the people that were accused of being accountable for what happened in life Affidavid, they are still living their lives free. Some of them, they are working in the government. It is heartbreaking, man. It is heartbreaking because today those families understand that they lost their loved ones due to negligence. Nothing else. They lost their loved ones due to negligence. And I hope that, guys, tomorrow we will be able to do a video on life Affidavid and try to understand where the matter is right now. But life Affidavid, man, this is one of the most painful things I have ever learned about, man. Like life Affidavid and the attitude of the corrupt comrades towards this horrible act. It makes everything worse. Hopefully, guys, tomorrow we will be able to do a video and actually get to learn extensively of life Affidavid.
Spoken to NGOs who are saying they're all awaiting your decision on this. What is the next step for the NPA post the release of that judgment? Currently,
the Director of Public Prosecutions in Pretoria, Advocate Mzinyati, is seized with the matter and his prosecution team. They will study that judgment and the inquest and any additional information that comes their way and make a determination whether there's relevant and admissible evidence that can sustain a prosecution decision that will be made. So we're at a stage where they're studying the judgment and will make a decision. But if when they go through evidence that is placed before them, they are of the view that there's additional investigations to be conducted, they will do so. It should be noted, Fundo, that an inquest, by its nature, is not necessarily equating to a trial-ready case that you can take to court. Criminal trial unfolds, a person is convicted. You have
similar to what we saw with the commission.
Yes, yes.
And, so it's more inquisitorial.
Exactly. So of importance is that the NPA must be given space and time to consider what is before them and make a determination if a prosecution should be mounted against those that whose names there are adverse findings that have been made.
All right, Mr. Mhaga, thank you very much for your time. That's the NPA spokesperson, Mthunzi Mhaga, speaking.
Me personally, guys, I don't want to lie. I don't agree with anything the gentleman has said, man. I know that the NPA needs its space. They need their own time so that they can do their own thing. But I honestly don't believe so, man. NPA has actually let South Africans down for such a long time. So I think all of this pressure that has been applied on the NPA, this is exactly what they need. This is exactly what they need. Guys, I don't know. Am I crazy? Please tell me what you think. Go to the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.